Okay, we're live. So I was writing some hooks apps today, and I ran into this pretty nasty bug. It cost me about an hour of like racking my head. Um, so it's a conceptual misunderstanding of how state updates work in concurrent React, uh, and it's just a pretty common bug in general. So I figured I would make a small repro and talk through it. So this is an app where I have two bits of state, state one and state two, and I have a button. And basically, state one and state two should update together for whatever reason. I just imagine this is a more complicated app with more logic. Here, my only logic is I get a random number. Um, so here in my click handler, which I assign to the button, the click handler gets the random number and assigns it to state one. And then I happen to have some other function that was like, that made it made this more complicated, um, where I was making it reusable and dry, right? And dry is good. Um, but then so I was using the state, which is within state one, which is within the closure of this, which is within the scope of this app. And then I was taking state one and updating state two with it, and expecting state two to update with the current value of state one. Um, and then I was like, okay, I can use the same function because I'm being dry. I use the same function in the event handler where the exact same place I set state one. So I set state one, and then I call the event this other function, and then function uses that value of state one to update state two. So let's try it out. So these two things should get the random number, and then both of them should have the same number. But as you can see, obviously, the whole reason we're talking is because that does not happen. So pay attention to 73, it moves down to 70 to state two. Pay attention to 0, it moves down to state two. 84 moves down to state two. So basically, state two is always lagging behind state one by one click. And so that's a little bit like just always imagine like the app is bigger and you're trying to reuse functions and use good stuff. These are common foot guns that might happen to you even though you don't really know about it. Let's say this is a bigger function. You didn't even know it has a dependency in state one, but it starts to fall out of sync because this kind of stuff happens. So originally, I thought the problem was the function, that the function was stale. Obviously, I'm not great at closures, but I thought maybe that was the problem, that the function in reference was stale. But that's clearly not it. I mean, that's obviously if you think a little bit hard about it, the compiler won't let you do that. Um, and so if you get rid of the function and you just have the state updates next to each other, that will not solve the problem. So here I'm running it again, and I still have uh, the non non the not good update. And then you're like, okay, in old React, we used to have a callback, right, for this, right? So after you set state, you can do whatever, and then you can do that. And it turns out that in new React you don't have that, right? So I don't think this will be valid. Yeah, now you just don't even update state two because the second argument is no longer even accepted. Um, you, hooks, the uState hook setter does have a functional form. So instead of supplying a number here like I'm doing right now, I can supply this, and it gives you state one, um, and this is guaranteed to be the value after it's been updated, or it's sort of like an async proof value. So I can uh, return this, but then also sort of update in state one. Uh, so okay, I'm a little bit giving away the answer here, but doesn't matter anyway. So when I do it like this with the callback form, I still have the the state sort of out of sync. But obviously, if I start to rearrange these things and say, for example, const state one equals rand, throw that out, and then return state one. So I lift up that state one, right? So I'm generating that value and then setting both state two and state one together. That is the that is also, yeah, that is the way, that is one way to fix it. So um, honestly, not like the best solution. The other solution that I had, if we sort of go back to the original. So let's say I can't touch the function, right? Let's say the function has to be reusable, has to be extracted out. This is still a problem, right? Because I can't do I guess I can do the callback form. Um, but anyway, so the main realization that I had was, I should try to make these sort of reusable functions pure, and that way you won't ever run into any sort of any of these issues. And so once the function is pure, then you're forced. There's no other way to do it apart from do things like this, where you declare state one, and then you update it on both sides. So this is very explicit and very clear that what value goes where, and you're not relying on the value that you get out of useState, right? So here it's in sync again. Obviously, you can always use the callback form. So that would be something like that, and then um, for returning, and fold it in, and then we fold this up, and it's the same difference. And if you sort of refresh, you can see that that also works. But these are two ways that are blessed. They're the old wrong way will not give you a compiler error, which is troubling, and I think that's something to keep in mind when you're doing subsequent or concurrent set states, I guess, that are next to each other. Right. Did I miss something? Is there a better way to do this? Let me know. Cheers.